As you prepare to rest at night, remember that your final thoughts before sleep are not fleeting or meaningless. They are the foundation upon which your subconscious builds your tomorrow. When the conscious mind drifts away into silence, the subconscious remains wide awake, tirelessly at work, shaping ideas, weaving connections, and turning repeated thoughts into beliefs and beliefs into actions. The moment you close your eyes, the inner workshop of your mind begins its labor, and the instructions you give it through your final thoughts act as blueprints for what it will create. If those thoughts are of worry, fear, and doubt, you will awaken to more of the same, for the mind cannot differentiate between what you want and what you fear. It only multiplies what you dwell upon. But if you end your day with thoughts of strength, gratitude, and purpose, then the seeds of those truths will grow in the fertile soil of the subconscious, and you will rise renewed with clarity and determination. The power of the subconscious is often underestimated because it is unseen. Yet unseen forces shape everything visible. Just as gravity is invisible but governs the movement of planets, so too does your subconscious govern the movement of your destiny. By filling it with thoughts of faith and power before rest, you give it direction. Without direction, it takes whatever it has been fed during the day, fragments of worry, conversations of doubt, flashes of fear, and it replays them, reinforcing them, until they become part of your belief system. This is why countless people wake up tired, heavy, and uninspired, because they allowed their minds to drift into sleep carrying the weight of anxieties. They rehearsed weakness instead of rehearsing strength. Imagine your last thoughts as a command to a loyal servant who never sleeps. If you tell this servant to guard against failure, it will spend the night scanning for obstacles, preparing you for defeat. But if you instruct it to pursue success, to seek solutions, to hold firm to your vision, then it will work all night long to bring forth ideas and opportunities aligned with that command. You have within you a silent worker, one who never questions and never rests. But it requires clear instructions, and those instructions are given in the moments before sleep. Each night, you have the opportunity to set the course of your destiny. In the stillness of your mind, you can plant words that grow into realities. Simple phrases, repeated with conviction, echo throughout the subconscious and return multiplied in strength. When you tell yourself, I am strong, I am capable, I am guided by purpose, your subconscious accepts those words as truth and builds your world around them. When you affirm, I welcome abundance, I expect opportunity, I trust in my vision, your subconscious begins seeking evidence of these realities and presenting them to you. And when you affirm, you must learn to become the guardian of your last thoughts each night. Do not allow them to be careless, for careless thoughts can undo days of effort. Do not allow them to be filled with bitterness, for bitterness poisons the roots of creation. Do not allow them to be weak, for weakness multiplies itself. Instead, choose carefully, deliberately, and with faith. Each chosen thought is like a key placed in the lock of tomorrow's door. Choose the wrong key, and the door remains closed. Choose the right one, and the door swings wide open to reveal new opportunities, fresh energy, and ideas that were silently created as you slept. The subconscious mind does not argue. It does not reason. It does not challenge you. It accepts what you give it, whether good or bad, strong or weak, true or false. This is why you must become intentional in the final moment of your day. Fill your last thoughts with images of success, with gratitude for what you already possess, and with faith in the vision you are pursuing. Visualize yourself already living in the real. And faith and fear are the two great forces that govern the human mind, and they cannot live in the same space together. One is constructive, the other destructive. One builds, the other tears down. One opens doors, the other slams them shut. If faith occupies the mind, fear must leave. And if fear is given residence, faith is driven out. Every person must choose which one will dominate, for the mind cannot serve both masters. Faith is the power that lifts the eyes upward, that inspires belief in possibilities unseen, that fuels persistence when obstacles seem insurmountable. Fear is the thief that whispers of failure, that paralyzes action, that blinds the mind to opportunity. The difference between greatness and mediocrity is often nothing more than whether faith was chosen over fear. Fear has many disguises. It appears as hesitation, as doubt, as the endless postponing of decisions. It shows itself in worry about the future, in obsession with what others think, in the quiet voice that says you are not ready, not worthy, not capable. It is subtle but relentless, and once it takes root in the mind, it spreads like a vine, wrapping around every idea, choking out growth before it can begin. Fear convinces the dreamer to abandon his vision, persuades the worker to give less than his best, and persuades the leader to follow instead of lead. Left unchecked, it consumes ambition and leaves nothing but regret. Faith, on the other hand, is the invisible power that moves mountains of difficulty. It is not blind hope, but a deep certainty that what you seek can be attained if you persist. Faith transforms thought into action and action into results. It sharpens the vision of the mind and draws resources, opportunities, and people who align with your purpose. When faith takes hold of a person, it is as though a fire has been lit within, one that no storm can extinguish. The individual walks taller, speaks with conviction, and faces challenges with the quiet confidence that they can and will be overcome. Faith and fear are both born of imagination. Fear imagines defeat before it happens, imagines poverty before it arrives, imagines rejection before a word has been spoken. It creates failure in the mind long before it appears in reality. Faith, too, imagines, but it imagines success, imagines triumph, imagines opportunity. It paints a picture of victory so vivid that the mind begins working toward it as though it were already real. Both faith and fear call upon the same power of belief, but one directs it toward destruction, the other toward creation. The choice of whether faith or fear will dominate is made daily, even hourly. Every time you encounter a challenge, the voice of fear will whisper that it is impossible, that you should turn back, that you should stay safe and small. At that moment, the voice of faith must answer, declaring that within every challenge lies the seed of opportunity, that within every setback is the lesson for greater strength, that within every obstacle is the chance to grow. The more often faith is chosen, the stronger it becomes, until it becomes the natural response of the mind. One of the greatest truths about faith and fear is that they are habits. They are strengthened by repetition. The more you indulge fear by speaking it, imagining it, or acting under its influence, the more powerful it becomes. But if you starve fear, refuse to the subconscious mind cannot distinguish between faith and fear. It accepts whatever is impressed upon it. If fear dominates, the subconscious obediently builds a world of limitations, setbacks, and self-sabotage. If faith dominates, it builds a world of opportunity, courage, and abundance. What you continually feed into the subconscious, especially in moments of emotion and repetition, an ion becomes your reality. This is why it is vital to deliberately cultivate faith and uproot fear at its very first sign. Oh, give it your attention and replace it with affirmations of faith that weaken. No person ever rises to greatness while carrying fear as a companion. Fear drains energy, clouds judgment, and chains the will. Faith liberates, clarifies, and empowers. The two cannot coexist, for when one lives in the mind, the other must die. This is the law of opposites. Light drives out darkness, courage drives out timidity, certainty drives out doubt. And so the task is not to negotiate with fear or to coexist with it, but to destroy it utterly by filling the definite purpose as the compass of the mind, and without it the mind drifts aimlessly like a ship at sea without a rudder. The greatest tragedies of life are not always found in failure, but in wasted potential, in talents left unused, in lives lived without direction. When the mind lacks a definite purpose, it falls prey to every distraction, every passing fancy, every suggestion from outside influences. It becomes like fertile soil left untended, where weeds of doubt, fear, and indecision grow unchecked. With no central vision to guide it, energy is scattered, and effort produces little lasting result. A definite purpose, however, unites all thought, all action, and all energy toward a single end, and that unity of force becomes power. Every great achievement in history began with a definite purpose. The inventor who changed the course of human progress, the leader who reshaped nations, the dreamer who turned vision into reality, each was driven by a clear and unwavering aim. They were not distracted by the opinions of the crowd, nor swayed by temporary setbacks, because their eyes were fixed on a definite goal. Purpose was their guiding star, and because of it they endured when others faltered. A man or woman with a definite purpose is a force of nature, because they have something that cannot be shaken by circumstance or discouraged by delay. When a person sets a definite purpose, the mind begins to rise, organize itself. Thoughts align in harmony with the chosen objective. Ideas, resources, and opportunities seem to appear where before there were none, for the mind, once given a clear command, begins to recognize everything that can contribute to its fulfillment. The subconscious mind accepts this definite purpose as a directive and begins working ceaselessly to bring it into reality. Without this command, the subconscious wanders, accepting conflicting instructions, responding to fear one moment and desire the next, creating confusion and inconsistency. But with a definite purpose, the mind functions like a magnet, drawing to itself everything that harmonizes with its aim. The absence of definite purpose is one of the chief reasons for failure. A person without purpose spends time and energy chasing many small ambitions but achieves none. They are quick to abandon one pursuit for another, constantly shifting direction, never moving far in any one path. They may be busy, even hard-working, yet their labor yields little because effort without focus is wasted effort. This is why so many people feel exhausted but unfulfilled. They have expended energy without the guidance of a clear objective. Purpose is what transforms motion into progress and labor into achievement. A definite purpose also strengthens the will. When you know what you want and why you want it, decisions become easier because every choice can be measured against whether it advances or hinders your aim. Temptations lose their power when weighed against a greater vision. Obstacles become temporary setbacks instead of reasons to quit, because the mind sees beyond the present difficulty to the greater goal ahead. With purpose, the will becomes resilient, able to withstand discouragement, able to rise after failure, able to maintain momentum when others grow weary. Definite purpose gives meaning to sacrifice. Without purpose, sacrifice feels like loss, a painful surrender without reward. But with purpose, sacrifice becomes investment, the willing exchange of something small for something greater. To set a definite purpose is to assume command of the mind. It is to declare to oneself and to the world, this is what I will accomplish and this is where my energy shall go. It requires courage because with purpose comes responsibility. You can no longer excuse yourself with indecision or blame outside forces for lack of progress. But this responsibility is also liberation, for it frees you from drifting, from being a victim of circumstance, from living under the direction of others. It gives you mastery over your own destiny. Purpose also has a magnetic effect on others. People are drawn to those who know where they are going. Leaders attract followers not because they have all the answers, but because they possess clarity of aim. Opportunities come more readily to those who project certainty, for the world trusts those who trust themselves. Partnerships form, doors open, resources appear when there is a clear vision guiding the way. A definite purpose not only aligns your own energy, but aligns the cooperation of others who recognize and respect your commitment. The mind is restless by nature, always in motion, always searching. Without direction, eye discipline transforms desire into reality. For desire alone is only the spark, but discipline is the steady flame that sustains the fire until it becomes light. Desire awakens the dream, but without discipline it fades into wishful thinking, a fleeting emotion that stirs the heart for a moment and then dissolves when confronted with difficulty. Discipline, however, is the force that channels desire into consistent action. It is the bridge between imagination and achievement, the tool that shapes vision into concrete results. Every dreamer who has built something of lasting value has done so not by desire alone, but by the discipline to persist when desire weakened, when excitement waned, when the path demanded more than an inspiration. Discipline is the art of commanding yourself to do what must be done regardless of mood. Every act of discipline strengthens the will, and every lapse weakens it. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce the belief that you are in command of your destiny. Each time you break that promise, you hand power over to weakness and allow doubt to take root. Discipline is not built in a day. It is built through repetition, through countless small choices that may seem insignificant at the moment, but together forge unbreakable character. The man who disciplines himself in small matters earns the strength to face great trials, for discipline is cumulative, growing stronger with each exercise. Desire without discipline leads to frustration. The world is filled with people who dream of wealth, health, achievement, and influence, yet they lack the discipline to act consistently in harmony with their desires. They start with excitement but stop when faced with resistance. They speak of their dreams but fail to pay the price required to attain them. They are pulled away by distraction, enslaved by habit, defeated by procrastination. Desire excites them, but discipline is absent, and without it, the dream dies. Discipline, therefore, is the dividing line between those who achieve and those who only wish, circumstance or comfort. It is the refusal to let emotions dictate actions. Many people confuse motivation with discipline, believing they must feel inspired in order to act, but this is the weakness that keeps most from achieving greatness. Motivation is fleeting, discipline is permanent. When discipline governs your life, you no longer depend on favorable conditions to move forward. You rise when it is time to rise, you work when it is time to work, and you persist when everything in you would rather surrender. This mastery of self is the foundation upon which all success rests, becomes a source of torment, full of doubt, worry, and hesitation. But when given a definite purpose, it finds peace in discipline, strength in focus, and fulfillment in... Discipline also protects against the destructive forces of fear and doubt. When you are disciplined, you act regardless of uncertainty, and action itself dissolves fear. The undisciplined person waits until all conditions are perfect, until confidence is complete, but those conditions never come, and so they remain idle. The disciplined person acts despite imperfection, learns from mistakes, and moves forward with each attempt. Through this consistent forward motion, fear loses its grip, doubt weakens, and confidence grows stronger. To live by discipline is to choose long-term reward over immediate comfort. It is to sacrifice ease in the present for abundance in the future. This choice defines all successful people, for the road to achievement is lined with temptations to quit, to rest, to settle for less. Discipline rejects these temptations and remains loyal to purpose. It does not seek shortcuts, for it knows that shortcuts lead to weakness, and weakness leads to failure. Discipline embraces the necessary struggle, knowing it is the price of strength, the crucible of greatness. Discipline is not a burden, but a liberation. It frees you from the tyranny of impulse, from the control of laziness, from the chaos of indecision. When you are disciplined, you no longer wonder what to do, for your actions are governed by commitment, not by mood. This creates a sense of order, of stability, of power. Life becomes simpler because decisions are already made by the standard of purpose and the habit of discipline. This freedom is the foundation of peace of mind. For the disciplined person does not live in regret, does not wrestle with broken promises, but walks steadily toward their chosen destiny. Greatness is not granted to those who merely hope, but to those who act with discipline. It is the difference between the dreamer who drifts and the dreamer who builds, between the shifts. The thinker who imagines and the thinker who creates. Discipline is the tool by which desire is made flesh, by which imagination becomes achievement, by which vision takes shape in the material world. Without discipline, desire is wasted potential. With discipline, desire becomes destiny. Gratitude and persistence create harmony with abundance, for they are the twin forces that attract opportunity and convert struggle into growth. Gratitude is the recognition of what already exists, the acknowledgement of blessings, however small, that shifts the mind from lack to plenty. It is the mental state that aligns you with possibility, opening your eyes to resources, allies, and paths that might otherwise go unseen. When you are grateful, you see doors where others see walls, and you recognize value where others notice only emptiness. Gratitude softens the heart and sharpens the mind, creating the right internal condition for success to flow. Without gratitude, the mind focuses only on absence, and absence multiplies. With gratitude, the mind dwells on plenty, and plenty expands. Yet gratitude alone is incomplete, for appreciation without action becomes complacency. This is why persistence is its natural partner. Persistence is the power that carries you through obstacles, that refuses to be stopped by setbacks, that continues when enthusiasm has faded and circumstances seem against you. It is persistence that proves to life itself that you are serious, that you will not turn away at the first sign of difficulty. The universe seems to test the strength of all who pursue a great vision, and persistence is the answer to that test. Where most surrender, the persistent endure, and by enduring they eventually triumph. The harmony of gratitude and persistence is the true secret to abundance. Gratitude ensures that you remain in a positive vibration, one that attracts support and opens opportunities. Persistence ensures that you seize those opportunities and press forward no matter the resistance. Gratitude prepares the soil, persistence plants the seed, and together they produce. The law of abundance responds directly to these two forces. Gratitude aligns your thoughts with the vibration of wealth, health, and opportunity, attracting more of the same. Persistence proves that you are worthy of receiving, for it demonstrates unwavering faith in your vision. Together, they signal to life that you are prepared not only to desire abundance, but to sustain it, to value it, to use it wisely. Abundance is not merely wealth, but a fullness of life, opportunities, relationships, ideas, and resources flowing toward you. And this flow remains steady when you cultivate gratitude and persistence in equal measure. When you rise each morning in gratitude, you train your mind to expect good, to notice opportunities, and to welcome possibilities. Throughout the day, persistence takes over, carrying you forward when difficulties arise, preventing you from retreating to old habits of weakness. At night, gratitude again closes the day, acknowledging the progress made, however small, and persistence prepares the heart to try again tomorrow with renewed determination. This cycle builds strength, fortitude, and unshakable confidence. Many fail not because they lack desire, but because they lack persistence. They want quick results, and when those results do not appear, they abandon their pursuit. Others fail because they never learn gratitude. They gain success, but without gratitude, they cannot enjoy it. They take blessings for granted, and abundance slips through their fingers. The truly powerful are those who master both forces, who persist long enough to achieve and remain grateful enough to sustain. Gratitude and persistence are not merely attitudes, but disciplines of the mind. They must be cultivated daily, practiced consciously until they become automatic responses to life. When difficulties arise, persistence must be the instinct to push forward, and when blessings appear, gratitude must be the instinct to give thanks. Over time, these instincts reshape your character, making you a magnet for success and a vessel capable of holding it. For abundance does not remain with the unprepared. It stays only with those who have built the inner strength to sustain it through gratitude and persistence.